Urdu, or Modern Standard Urdu, is a standardized register of the Hindustani language. It is the national language and lingua franca of Pakistan, and an official language of 6 states of India. It is also one of the 22 official languages recognized in the Constitution of India. Urdu is historically associated with the Muslims of the Indian subcontinent. Apart from specialized vocabulary, Urdu is mutually intelligible with Standard Hindi, which is associated with the Hindu community. The Urdu language received recognition and patronage under British rule when the British replaced the Persian and local official languages with the Urdu and English languages in the North Indian regions of Jammu and Kashmir in 1846 and Punjab in 1849. Origin: Urdu, like Hindi, is a form of Hindustani. It evolved from the medieval Apabhramsa register of the preceding Sharaseni language, a Middle Indo-Aryan language that is also the ancestor of other modern languages, including the Punjabi dialects. Urdu developed under the influence of the Persian and Arabic languages, both of which have contributed a significant amount of vocabulary to formal speech. Around 99% of Urdu verbs have the roots in Sanskrit and Prakrit, although the word Urdu itself is derived from the Turkish word ordu or order, from which English hord is also derived. Turkish borrowings in Urdu are minimal. Urdu words originating from Turkish and Arabic were borrowed through Persian and hence are Persianized versions of the original words. For instance, the Arabic ta marbutha changes to hiyate. Nevertheless, contrary to popular belief, Urdu did not borrow from Turkish language. Urdu and Turkish borrowed from Arabic and Persian. Hence the similarity in pronunciation of many Urdu and Turkish words. Arabic influence in the region began with the late first millennium Muslim conquests on the Indian subcontinent. The Persian language was introduced into the subcontinent a few centuries later by various Persianized Central Asian Turkish and Afghan dynasties, including that of Mahmud of Ghazni. The Turco-Afghan Delhi Sultanate established Persian as its official language, a policy continued by the Mughal Empire, which extended over most of North and South Asia from the 16th to 18th centuries and cemented Persian influence on the developing Hindustani. With the advent of the British Raj, Persian was no longer the language of administration but Hindustani, still written in the Persian script, continued to be used by both Hindus and Muslims. The name Urdu was first used by the poet Ghulam Hamadani Mushafi around 1780. For the 13th century until the end of the 18th century, Urdu was commonly known as Hindi. The language was also known by various other names such as Hindavi and Dehyavi. The communal nature of the language lasted until it replaced Persian as the official language in 1837 and was made co-official along with English. Urdu was promoted in British India by British policies to counter the previous emphasis on Persian. This triggered a Hindu backlash in northwestern India, which argued that the language should be written in the native Devanagari script. Thus a new literary register, called Hindi, replaced traditional Hindustani as the official language of Bihar in 1881, establishing a sectarian divide of Urdu for Muslims and Hindi for Hindus, a divide that was formalized with the division of India and Pakistan after independence. At independence, Pakistan established a highly Persianized literary form of Urdu as its national language. There have been attempts to purify Urdu and Hindi by purging Urdu of Sanskrit loanwords and Hindi of Persian loanwords. A new vocabulary draws primarily from Persian and Arabic for Urdu and from Sanskrit for Hindi. English has exerted a heavy influence on both as a co-official language. Speakers and geographic distribution. There are between 60 and 70 million native speakers of Urdu. There were 52 million in India per the 2001 census, some 6% of the population. Approximately 10 million in Pakistan are 7.57% per the 1998 census, and several hundred thousand in the United Kingdom, Saudi Arabia, United States, and Bangladesh. However, a knowledge of Urdu allows one to speak with far more people than that, because Hindustani, of which Urdu is one variety, is the fourth most commonly spoken language in the world, after Mandarin, English, and Spanish. Because of the difficulty in distinguishing between Urdu and Hindi speakers in India and Pakistan, as well as estimating the number of people for whom Urdu is a second language, the estimated number of speakers is uncertain and controversial. Owing to interaction with other languages, Urdu has become localized wherever it is spoken, including in Pakistan itself. Urdu in Pakistan has undergone changes and has lately incorporated and borrowed many words from regional languages like Pashto, Punjabi, Sindhi and Balti, thus allowing speakers of the language in Pakistan to distinguish themselves more easily and giving the language a decidedly Pakistani flavor. Similarly, the Urdu spoken in India can also be distinguished into many dialects like Dakni of South India, and Kari Boli of the Punjab region since recent times. Because of Urdu's similarity to Hindi, speakers of the two languages can easily understand one another if both sides refrain from using specialized vocabulary. The syntax, morphology, and the core vocabulary are essentially identical. Thus, linguists usually count them as one single language and contend that they are considered as two different languages for socio-political reasons. In Pakistan, Urdu is mostly learned as a second or a third language, as nearly 93% of Pakistan's population has a native language other than Urdu. Despite this, Urdu was chosen as a token of unity and as a lingua franca so as not to give any native Pakistani language preference over the other. Urdu is therefore spoken and understood by the vast majority in some form or another, including a majority of urban dwellers in such cities as Karachi, Lahore, Sialkot, Rawalpindi, Islamabad, Multan, Faisalabad, Hyderabad, Peshawar, Quetta, Jammu, Sargodha and Skardu. It is written, spoken and used in all provinces, territories of Pakistan, despite the fact that the people from differing provinces may have different indigenous languages, as from the fact that it is the base language of the country. For this reason, it is also taught as a compulsory subject up to higher secondary school in both English and Urdu medium school systems. This has produced millions of Urdu speakers from people whose native language is one of the state languages of Pakistan, such as Punjabi, Pashto, Sindhi, Baluchi, Potwari, Hindko, Pahari, Saraiki, Balti, and Brahui, who can read and write only Urdu. It is absorbing many words from the regional languages of Pakistan. This variation of Urdu is sometimes referred to as Pakistani Urdu. So, although most of the population is conversant in Urdu, it is the first language of only an estimated 7% of the population, who are mainly Muslim immigrants from different parts of South Asia. The regional languages are also being influenced by Urdu vocabulary. There are millions of Pakistanis whose native language is not Urdu, but because they have studied in Urdu medium schools, they can read and write Urdu along with the native language. Most of the nearly 5 million Afghan refugees of different ethnic origins who stayed in Pakistan for over 25 years have also become fluent in Urdu. With such a large number of people speaking Urdu, the language has in recent years acquired a peculiar Pakistani flavor, further distinguishing it from the Urdu spoken by native speakers and diversifying the language even further. A great number of newspapers are published in Urdu in Pakistan, including the Daily Jang, Nawaiwaqt, Mila, among many others. In India, Urdu is spoken in places where there are large Muslim minorities as cities that were bases for Muslim empires in the past. These include parts of Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Bihar, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra, Karnataka, and cities such as Lucknow, Delhi, Bareilly, Meerut, Saharanpur, Muzaffarnagar, Roorkee, Deoband, Moradabad, Azamgarh, Bina, Najibabad, Rampur, Aligarh, Allahabad, Gorakhpur, Agra, Kanpur, Badaun, Bhopal, Hyderabad, Aurangabad, Bengaluru, Kolkata, Mysore, Patna, Gulbarga, Pavani, Nanded, Malegaon, Bidar, Ajmer, and Ahmedabad. Some Indian schools teach Urdu as a first language and have their own syllabus and exams. Indian madrasas also teach Arabic as well as Urdu. India has more than 3,000 Urdu publications, including 405 daily Urdu newspapers. Newspapers such as Nashat News Urdu, Sahara Urdu, Daily Salah, Hindustan Express, Daily Pasban, Siyasat Daily, The Munsif Daily and Inkilab are published and distributed in Bengaluru, Malegaon, Mysore, Hyderabad, and Mumbai. Outside South Asia, it is spoken by large numbers of migrant South Asian workers in the major urban centers of the Persian Gulf countries and Saudi Arabia. Urdu is also spoken by large numbers of immigrants and the children in the major urban centers of the United Kingdom, the United States, Canada, Germany, Norway, and Australia. Along with Arabic, Urdu is among the immigrant languages with the most speakers in Catalonia, leading to fears of linguistic ghettos. Official status: Urdu is the national and one of the two official languages of Pakistan, along with English, and is spoken and understood throughout the country, whereas the state-by-state languages of the provincial languages. Only 7.57% of Pakistanis have Urdu as the mother language, but Urdu is understood all over Pakistan. It is used in education, literature, office and court business. It holds in itself a repository of the cultural and social heritage of the country. Although English is used in most elite circles, and Punjabi has a plurality of native speakers, Urdu is the lingua franca and national language of Pakistan. In practice, English is used instead of Urdu in the higher echelons of government. Urdu is also one of the officially recognized languages in India and has official language status in the Indian states of Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Jharkhand, West Bengal, Telangana, Jammu and Kashmir, and the national capital, New Delhi. In Jammu and Kashmir, Section 145 of the Kashmir Constitution provides, "The official language of the state shall be Urdu, but the English language shall, unless the legislature by law otherwise provides, continue to be used for all the official purposes of the state for which it was being used immediately before the commencement of the Constitution." Dialects: Urdu has a few recognized dialects, including Dakhni, Rekhta, and modern vernacular Urdu. Dakhni is spoken in Deccan region of southern India. It is distinct by its mixture of vocabulary from Marathi and Konkani, as well as some vocabulary from Arabic, Persian, and Turkish that are not found in the standard dialect of Urdu. Dakhini is widely spoken in all parts of Maharashtra, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka. Urdu is read and written as in other parts of India. A number of daily newspapers and several monthly magazines in Urdu are published in these states. In terms of pronunciation, the easiest way to recognize a native speaker is the pronunciation of the letter Qaf as Khe. Urdu spoken in Indian state of Odisha is different from Urdu spoken in other areas. It is a mixture of Odia and Bihari. Code switching. Many Urdu speakers, being familiar with both Urdu and English, display code switching in certain localities and between certain social groups. On the 14th of August 2015, the government of Pakistan launched the ILM Pakistan movement with a uniform curriculum in Urdu. Ehsan Iqbal, Federal Minister of Pakistan, said, "Now the government is working on a new curriculum to provide a new medium to the students which will be the combination of both Urdu and English, and will name it Urdu." Comparison with Modern Standard Hindi. Standard Urdu is often contrasted with Standard Hindi. Apart from religious associations, the differences are largely restricted to the standard forms. Standard Urdu is conventionally written in the Nastaliq style of the Persian alphabet and relies heavily on Persian and Arabic as a source for technical and literary vocabulary, whereas Standard Hindi is conventionally written in Devanagari and draws on Sanskrit. However, both have large numbers of Arabic, Persian, and Sanskrit words, and most linguists consider them to be two standardized forms of the same language and consider the differences to be socio-linguistic, though a few classify them separately. Old Urdu dictionaries also contain most of the Sanskrit words now present in Hindi. Mutual intelligibility decreases in literary and specialized contexts that rely on educated vocabulary. Further, it is quite easy in a longer conversation to distinguish differences in vocabulary and pronunciation of some Urdu phonemes. As a result of religious nationalism since the partition of British India and continued communal tensions, native speakers of both Hindi and Urdu frequently assert them to be distinct languages, despite the numerous similarities between the two in a colloquial setting. The barrier created between Hindi and Urdu is eroding. Hindi speakers are comfortable with using Persian Arabic borrowed words, and Urdu speakers are also comfortable with using Sanskrit terminology. Phonology. Consonants, notes, marginal and non-universal phonemes are in parentheses. Is post-velar. Vowels, note, marginal and non-universal vowels are in parentheses. Vocabulary. Urdu's vocabulary has borrowings from various languages. A corpus-based quantitative survey of the etymological origins of basic Urdu vocabulary is shown in the adjacent table. Many of the words of Arabic origin have been adopted through Persian and have different pronunciations and nuances of meaning and usage than they do in Arabic. There are also a smaller number of borrowings from Chagatai and Portuguese. Levels of formality. Urdu in its less formalized register has been referred to as a rekachtar, meaning rough mixture. The more formal register of Urdu is sometimes referred to as Zaban-i-Urdu-yi Mualla, the language of the exalted camp, referring to the imperial army. The etymology of the word used in the Urdu language for the most part decides how polite or refined one's speech is. For example, Urdu speakers would distinguish between pani and ab, both meaning water. The former is used colloquially and has older Indic origins, whereas the latter is used formally and poetically, being of Persian origin. If the word is of Persian or Arabic origin, the level of speech is considered to be more formal and grand. Similarly, if Persian or Arabic grammar constructs, such as the izafat, are used in Urdu, the level of speech is also considered more formal and grand. If a word is inherited from Sanskrit, the level of speech is considered more colloquial and personal. This distinction is similar to the division in English between words of Latin, French, and Old English origins.